What's next? Business cards.
Okay, let's roll. We'll call this meeting to order, the work session for February 27th.
February 27th, roll call, please.
Casanello,
Here.
Pater,
Here.
Larson,
Here.
Snyder,
Here.
Ramirez,
Here.
Lee.
Here. Okay, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're to the agenda items. There's one agenda item I'd like to put on the list if it doesn't bother anybody. It's mainly an endorsement letter recommendation. Any objections? Okay, we'll put that on as item 0. Make it quick. Okay, I got an email from UVA Community Health, the hospital association. They said they have opportunity for grant money from the federal government to upgrade some of their equipment for their mobile 3D mammography system. And they wanted endorsements from all the community governments saying that it will be used by our constituents. So I got a letter that they prefabbed for us, which you all should have. And so I just want a directive agreement from you guys. If there are no objections, I'll sign it and we'll send it out.
What does this support do other than just community? Is it a requisite they have these? Or have support from us, or just sort of a?
Yeah, it's strictly, I guess, support from us to, not financially, just for, I guess, any programs that they have with this 3D, making the healthcare piece of it more visible,
Gotcha.
in which we do get regular mammographies for women to prevent breast cancer and such.
Cool. Thanks.
Specifically to breast cancer.
Yeah. Any objections? Okay, I'll sign that and we'll direct Kim to send it on. Go to the next item then, the monthly financial report.
Good evening, Council. So, I don't know if you guys have taken a chance to look at it. Just wanted to see if there's any specific questions on this month's report.
We started taking in capital facility contributions for the fairgrounds yet?
Yes. No, not the fairgrounds. Not as of yet. I will be including a report in next week's agenda with the 38 proffers that we have collected for the Van Meter, Robbins Village. As far as this one, we have not yet. The 7 townhomes you do see up there will begin once they get occupancy permits. So that's what we're waiting on as of right now.
Cool. Thank you.
One item I do want to bring up, if there's no questions, is that I will be including in next week's agenda an amendment request. It's under the 1%, so we don't have to do a public notice, but that is to address the DMV grant payback. What we're going to plan on doing, as you all well know, anytime we do have an increase in funds, we tend to put it into the capital improvement funds line item. So we're going to be removing some of that. In this case, it'll be $4,974.47, so we can get that squared away. So that will be in next week's agenda.
So clarification, you said you're shifting that from capital improvements into public safety?
Yes, public safety, we created a new line item, 31110058, DMV grant payback reimbursement. we will be moving some of the funds from line item 94108 into the police department's budget in order to make that payment. Well, we have made the payment because it was time sensitive that payment be submitted, which we'll get into in the next agenda item.
Okay, any questions for the treasurer?
Anything, hey, Roberto. Welcome back, Emily. Good to see you. Anything stick out for you? I mean, I wasn't here last week, but we did chat a little bit. Anything of importance you want to share with council on either the expense or the revenue side? How we doing?
No, we're doing positive on it. We are currently spending within our budgets. We are receiving revenues. We'll have a third quarter adjustment coming up concerning some additional revenues. As you guys all well know, when we created this budget, it was very conservative in the sense of we didn't know it would be the first full year after the pandemic and see how businesses were doing. Obviously, a lot of traction is gone with the new businesses. So I will be coming in the third quarter with a amendment request for that, as well as any key items. But as of right now, we're doing well. We're within our budgets in the police department as well too. So, yeah.
So since we're talking about finance, can we just kind of go through your schedule for this upcoming budget? Might be a good idea. See if everybody agrees or have any issues.
So let me pull that up. I did not have that ready to discuss, but
I tripped you up, sorry.
no, it's all right. So I did send out the tentative work session for the budget, for the upcoming budget.
We don't have Bob. I was going to put a cutout here. I put the paper instead. But sorry, Roberto.
No, that's fine. The intent was to have everyone aware of what I'm planning as far as the timeline for the budget. I have not heard back from anyone, so I'm assuming this is a good schedule to go with. But the reason why we're also starting in March 27th is because I will not have the assessments back on time. Also, just want to make sure that the hope was to have our CAFR done by then, but obviously that is still in process. I think that'll be being worked on site on May. Once I get a concrete date, I'll inform of council. But yes, so the timeline on that work session for March 27 will be the first time that I go ahead and present the budget, a draft proposed budget to council. That's when I hope that we can go line item by line item on the budget. If there's any changes or any requests, that's where the discussion will be had. The following meeting, if there's any edits that need to be done, we'll go ahead and do that as well. I will also request in the following meeting for the directive from council to go ahead and publish the tax rates, as well as the public hearing. Then, as you see on the following Monday, the 10th, I plan on doing another budget session, strictly budget, to explain any changes or have another look by council as a whole. The April 24th would be review any additional revisions. Some of these meetings, though, I'm not sure how council will go about it, but if we need to have multiple meetings, we will. But if we do not need to hold those meetings, we can opt to not have them. The May 11th is actually highlighted because that is one of my final work session meetings I'm hoping to have, because by then I hope to have a solid budget that council is all in agreement with to present to the public and to vote on. All these sessions will be open to the public. Work sessions, the public's always invited to come in and listen. Any comments usually are done on the regular council meeting, any concerns. And obviously, when we have our public hearing for the tax rate and the public hearing for the budget, citizens are more than welcome to make comments or, on what the budget that we're presenting. I don't know if there's any questions on that schedule.
Trying to think how to say this and sound intelligent. So when do you need us to give you direction? I guess you'll make your recommendation on the budget, but in terms of, if we want, I know previously we looked at 3 different rates. When do we give that guidance to you to?
So I plan on presenting a draft budget.
Okay.
So March 27th is when I will have some scenarios out there, but
Okay.
my budget will be built on the rate that we currently have.
Okay.
Obviously, then I'll present with you guys all what the difference would be if we change those rates, how it would affect the budget. It will be on real time, meaning I'll be able to pull it up on the screen. We'll be able to discuss it.
Okay.
The directive will always be, as you know, that the tax rate's always at the highest point that we will consider it. We can go less than that at any time, but we can't go higher. So once we set that number, consensus with the council is what number we'll go with.
It's the same approach that we did last year.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, very similar approach, yes.
Thanks.
Any other questions? You're smiling.
Always a fun discussion.
This is good, though. It's a nice timeline.
Yeah.
All prepare.
Yes, thank you, Roberto.
Thank you.
Next on the list is the DMV grant updates.
Okay, so this is the reason why this is in the agenda is because we had some good news this past February the 14th. I was actually reached out by the DMV grant manager, informing me that the town was now being reconsidered to be evaluated for eligibility. I did receive an email that I made sure with the town attorney, this is a foilable document. I'll go ahead and read into the record, if you guys are okay with that. He said, Town Treasurer Roberto Gonzalez, thank you for contacting the Department of Motor Vehicles regarding the town's of Haymarket's interest in the future highway safety grant funding. DMV, as stewards of the federal grant funds awarded in entities for life-saving traffic, safety enforcement, and public awareness activities, has established a corrective plan for Haymarket to be eligible for future funds. The town is currently suspended from eligibility based on the findings during March 15th, 2021 site visit and review of the department's highway safety grant files. To be considered for reinstatement, the following actions must be completed by the town to the satisfaction of DMV. 1. Reimburse $4,974.47 for the activity identified on March 15, 2021. 2. Introduce the current town manager and chief of police to DMV either in person, virtual, or written correspondence. And 3. Implement and adapt a plan in writing to ensure proper overtime policy is in place and utilized for all grant activities. All grant activities must be properly documented. Complete file documents must be maintained, and grant activity must be offered to all eligible law enforcement officers. The reimbursement must be submitted by check to the DMV, Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles. It gave us the information to who to send it to, and then it stated that upon completion of the above DMV evaluation, upon completion, DMV will evaluate the town for future eligibility. The last part is federal grant funding is an important tool for localities and implement strategies to reduce traffic crashes and unsafe behaviors of motorists on the road. With such funding comes great responsibility to ensure the monies are used accordingly and requirements established by the U.S. Department of Transportation and Commonwealth of Virginia. DMV is looking forward to the future successful partnership with the Town of Haymarket Police Department to effectively address Haymarket's traffic safety issues. And then obviously give us contact information where to send the check to. Once we receive that, as you guys are aware, in January 3rd, I believe, earlier this year, Chief and I were able to attend a mandatory administrative class for DMV. It was very insightful. I believe Chief, this was the first time that he was going to be administering this grant, but I thought it was very straightforward. It's just a meeting we had to join with them. Once we completed that, we were just left with a follow-up to the project grant manager as to when we would be eligible. When he reached out to us, we quickly got on the phone and began speaking to them on what we have to do as fast as possible. We set up a meeting. Unfortunately, it was the day that the day prior to Ms. Karazi's return, so I was able to take up the meeting, but I let her know that SEPA was able to come here in person.
Good.
The chief was then able to meet him and discuss with him the plan going forward. I don't know if you want to speak to that, sir, since you were in that meeting.
Sure. We checked all the boxes on all the requirements from SEPO and the rest of DMV, including a policy on employment compensation, which he reviewed the policy that I'd written. Of course, we also have the policy manual backing up from the town of Haymarket, and then how we would be moving forward with grant implementation and oversight. And he was very pleased with our responses and our policies that we had in place.
Excellent. Can I ask a question? So we complied with all of the requirements so far, but that doesn't guarantee this is going to happen, is that right? They still
Correct.
have to go.
He made that clear. But obviously, what made this time sensitive is the grant is due tomorrow. That's the deadline for the application. So we went through all these boxes, and of course, we checked all the boxes, and we did everything we needed to do. And roughly, I don't know, I followed up with Roberto today. So roughly around 2 o'clock, I submitted the grant. The grant's written. All the numbers are in. Everything is how it's supposed to be. So we still met the deadline on top of everything. He was going to run everything up the ladder to his bosses on what he saw, what he heard. He's got copies of all the documentation we provided with the policies and our plan of action. And he is favorable, but he didn't guarantee anything. But we did the training, we did the grant, and now it's all in their hands. We've done everything that we can do on the town's part.
Excellent. That's good news.
Tracy Lynn?
Just a quick question. Please correct me if I'm wrong on the reimbursement of the 4,000, whatever. What, is that part of the grant reinstatement? And what line item does that come from?
So that is actually a payback. It's not a reimbursement. They're basically requesting for when DMV came and did an on-site visit due to some red flags.
Okay.
And then once that happened, the town was suspended. They found that we owe the money back because it was improperly filed with prior administration. So we are paying it back since it wasn't done the right way. How we're taking those funds are actually from the CIP funds, which is the amendment that I'll be presenting to council next week. So we do have the funds there. We always, when we reported this and we were told that we were suspended, we kind of set aside the money in case this was going to happen down the line. We expected it to be longer, but we were lucky enough that Seppo, in his words, actually said that he was given the green light to actually reach out to us now. That's what he did. So yes, I hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, the grants, again, they had multiple grant types.
Okay.
Which ones that we submitted?
Good question.
On the recommendation from SEPO is kind of start small.
Okay.
And of course, like I said, I have never administered this type of grant. So I think that was a good idea on both sides, not just their side, but our side. So we elected to go with a seatbelt or unrestrained passenger and speed grant and left the rest alone for this year. As long as everything, and I talked to SEPO today on the phone, as long as everything goes well, we follow through with our policy this year. I think next year we would be open to apply for whatever we felt the needs were of the town and the citizens at that time.
Great, thank you.
Can you share?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you share the opportunities, what other grants, opportunities we would have?
Alcohol, equipment, training, and education. It's a big one. The education would be great because it's not just about an enforcement side, it's now about an educational side, and that's what we're about. And Roberto and I was really excited about the educational one. But the speed and the unrestrained passenger, on our survey, we're at about 75% on unrestrained passengers in town. The national average and the state average is about 81. So I'd like to see that up a little bit. So we felt that this year that would be the best route to go. And then next year we're gonna implement new grants and go with the education and probably some of the others as well.
Question about that rate, that 75%, you're looking for 81, that's compliance rate?
Yes, correct. We do a survey, a random survey during the year to see what our passengers, what our occupants of the vehicle are wearing their seatbelt or not. Not so to stop them, just to watch. And we're at about 75%.
Okay. Can you share how much do you think we might be eligible for?
This year I applied with matching around $17,000. Now, of course, with matching, but keep in mind that our portion of it would be roughly $6,000, give or take a few dollars. And we can use that, our share would be in kind. We can do vehicle maintenance, we can do gas. So basically, it's really no dollars that's coming out of the citizen's pocket. It's basically routine maintenance we'd be taking care of anyway. And since it's not specific to our enforcement with that program. So basically, we're not showing any money that we're going to need to match that grant with. It'll be in-kind donations.
Excellent.
We obviously surpass $6,000 in gas and maintenance every year. So I think that was a good dart in the board. Not to mention, it's what our current manpower and staffing allow us to do. You can sit here and say you want to work 20 hours a week for overtime, but these guys got families, they got stuff to do when they're off. You can't be working them 24/7. You want them to be fresh and ready for their shift as well. So we think it's a really good place, and it's really in line with what we are already working on the Select Enforcement Grant. I asked for $12,000 this year, and I think our finish out for the set for DMV's fees is $11,800 and change. So it's right where we're already at. So I think it's good for both sides.
So if we are eligible, any sense when we might hear or find out?
So,
you talked
I
about.
was going to address that soon.
Yep.
Talking to Seppo, he said that once we file this all the grant application and everything, we will not probably hear from him until August.
Okay,
And then, so we won't know until August.
So I was looking at it from a budgeting perspective.
So budget wise, budget wise, I will not
year.
include this in our budget.
Okay.
This will be a amendment in
windfall.
in the second quarter. It would be an amendment in the second quarter because the way it would go is that if we're eligible in August, there's another mandatory course the chief and I will have to take in September, and then the grant will begin October 1st of this year, and it will be good till next year, September 30th, 2024. Then we'll have to reapply during that process as well. So this will not be in the budget until it is a done deal. We have the green light officially.
Right.
And most likely it'll be a second quarter amendment.
Right.
Yep.
Prudent.
And I'm excited for this to be a stepping stone because I can't wait to have the opportunity for the education when we get the Vallepsi or CALIA accreditations. That'll really help the training piece of that.
I think so. And Roberto and I was really excited about the education side, and we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to next year as well on that. And keep in mind with the finance side is that the grant does not start until October 1. Right. So I've already went over the numbers. He knows how to adjust FICA. And then also as far as what we're going to do in that grace period there, so to speak, and then have a plan in case the grant is not approved. Right. Because none of this is definite. It's just, we've done everything that we can do to make it happen, but the powers that be is left with them.
Right, right. Yeah, that seems to be somewhat in line with the federal budget cycle rather than the state.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it must
very,
be a
did in line.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Any other
good news.
questions? No?
Good news.
Okay, good news. Thank you.
Finally.
Now we'll go on to the town hall building use discussions. We just got Lewis's report. I haven't had a chance to look at it.
I think that's the town park building.
That's the other one. That's
Oh,
the
that's-
park building.
It's the park building.
Town hall use.
Oh, town hall use.
I
Okay.
did the same thing, sorry.
I'll jump in on the
Let
town hall.
Emily run with it.
So in the last 3 months, I'm not entirely sure everybody who's reached out, but before my leave, we've had several people who reach out on behalf of nonprofit organizations or other community groups who have wanted to have a space located in the town that they can meet and gather. So mainly we've had the opportunity to open up this space on a very limited basis. So I know that Right now, we don't have a true plan set out. We don't charge anything. We just, as we can accommodate, we work with them. So currently, right now, I know that we are allowing the Rotary Club to hold their every other Monday morning Wednesday morning meetings here at Town Hall. This does require that a representative of town staff is here. So before I went out and we started doing this process, we did it so that if the space is utilized, that a council representative or a staff representative was present at all times. So they were responsible for unlocking and locking the door and making sure there was access to the public restrooms. So that means that on those Wednesday mornings, it was myself or Kim, sometimes even Tracy Lynn, would come in, open it up, and we would be with them for the meeting. In lieu of them meeting here, the town does get a membership with the Rotary Club, so we do have that agreement worked out with them. Other groups who have asked us to meet here include Girl Scout troops. I know Mary's Girl Scout troop has met here a couple times, and I think it's been very successful. And then we've also had a Boy Scout troop who's asked to meet here, and sometimes do that before one of our meetings where they can earn their community badge. So I think all in all, there is an interest for a meeting space. There's a need for it, certainly. I think council should go through the process of discussing whether it's here or, as we very, very briefly discussed at a finance meeting on Thursday, it's high time we get the museum back open, and that would also be a great space that we could actually rent out to the community, have a plan, have an application, have a security deposit, have a cleaning fee, et cetera, and we can better utilize that space in the short term as well. So I would be interested to hear your concerns or questions, thoughts on this space. I know we do have expensive equipment. With Rotary Club, we make it very clear, we ask that they, of course, not go up there and swirl in the chairs like kids would, but they utilize our projector and the podium and the chairs. We do pull some of the tables out. So again, with a staff representative here, we do try to watch everything and make sure that it's within reason. When it starts to be the groups with children, that's a little harder, for sure, but we don't want to, exclude anyone either.
The other one, we did have Haymarket Church, who leases upstairs. One member of Haymarket Church, they had come in and asked to use it on Christmas Day. And so I coordinated with Kim as the council representative to do that. So if we talk about underperforming assets or underutilized things, it's certainly in the interim, this is someplace.
Underperforming or non-performing?
Non-performing, one of those types of things, but this is something, again, for a larger discussion when we talk about other properties that we own. But I think we just added, we're about to add 300 new residents between the two residential projects. So we have an increasing demand, if not just for HOA meeting space, but for civic space, where people can congregate throughout the year. So I think it's the three-prong approach, I think, either here or there, I think is a good idea. Maybe just coming up with some general policies that you would like us to review or consider. So, thanks.
Okay. Tracy Lynn?
May I? Thank you. I'm all for it. I do like the fact that there's a representative. I also understand that can be taxing on schedules, not only with our staff, but with our council members. So I would like to look into the viability of what that might be. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. I'd rather promise and whatever the term is, right? So that would be my concern, because I do think that it's important to have a member present, but not everybody's schedule would. Christmas Day would be a hard one. Right? That's a good example.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, right. But I'm all for utilizing our space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Follow up to that. We talk about overtaxing. Maybe part of the recommendation is how many times we can make it available, per month or something like that. Okay.
Sure. And times, because
right.
For me to commit to 7:30, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention that I know Longstreet Commons HOA, they have also come in and had their meetings, and I think it's gone well, right, Mary?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully
Good
staff has
use.
felt like things are returned to where they're used, and
Yeah.
I do want to make note, anytime that I have requested the use of town hall, I have always been present. And like Tracy Lynn said, like, I'm available, you know, for these organizations that I participate in. I don't know how much more available I can be for other participants or other organizations, but I don't think that that should exclude them. I definitely think that our town would benefit from a communal space that is open to all and accessible to all and is reasonably priced and, you know, is safe and clean, those kinds of things. So I'm excited to engage in this conversation to see how we can support other organizations that, you know, I'm not a part of, but certainly deserve the right to meet somewhere.
Also, it's kind of cool to meet at town hall, like,
Yeah.
to figure out about it.
I mean, I will say the Girl Scouts in particular, I let them one by one come and sit up here at the table, and some of them want to be mayor one day. So, you know, like empowering future leaders. So this is an excellent opportunity to do that and make government feel accessible. So,
Good point.
Well, with that feedback, I'll work on a development of kind of plan, policy, what we could do for this space as well as the museum space, and bring that back at our March 27th work session. That works for everyone?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
That's
I
a good
also
idea.
know, we did have a assessment done, and we started to implement some in the town. I don't know how far are in the town hall building. I don't know if that's been starting to be worked, but
About safety?
safety, yeah. I know we directed a few of the suggestions to be worked immediately, but I guess we need to do the same type of audit on the museum if we're going to open it up, because I don't know what display cases in there we consider valuable and at risk if we have people over there, and so make sure you include that.
So just a couple of comments or thoughts. We didn't find anything in the previous minutes. That's a shame too, because I know it even actually went for bid to have like a partition that would scissor out to exclude the dais area back in the day. And the only other thought or concern is, I know for the police department, Chief, you had that. My thought or concern would be also to include the fire department and the fire marshal for his perspective in our buildings, specifically for that door. If that is a fire exit, there's certain standards and everything down to public safety is, our electric room should have an electric room sign. I mean, that kind of detail that they look at with a different perspective other than the security, I think they would be more than welcome to come in to give their assessment as well.
So we're looking at it from a safety and security perspective, essentially. Fire, life, safety, the whole Megillah.
I think everybody's on board with allowing it. It's just,
I feel like that's something that we should do anyways, because
Well-
we're in here too.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the occupancy permits, all those other things that you typically see in a meeting space, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, even for events.
do a full-blown assessment of it
Okay.
and come back to us, and we can have a further discussion. But I tell you what, I'm very much in favor of us sharing these non-performing assets
Yep.
with the community, because after all, it's not ours, it's theirs,
Right.
when you really think about it.
Well, it
So
builds
we have to,
relationships.
I'm sorry?
It builds relationships.
It's build relationships, but also it should be available to the residents of this town, because I know a lot of HOAs want to use this facility, if not the museum or wherever else we think we have space available. But in my opinion, we should very seriously consider it and take into account all of those additional costs, whether it be staff or whatever the case may be.
Yep, and on that assessment, I guess we could kind of do a little bit of research on what the cost of renting out rooms elsewhere are. I'm sure I can volunteer Vice Mayor to help with that one, since she probably has an accurate figure on numbers for rentals. Just a base price, our baseline, what price we want to try and offer.
Okay. I think that we can certainly come up with a baseline, come up with some ideas, but also working to keep the public buildings accessible to the HOAs and the residents who already pay into the taxes.
Yep, yeah, be creative. If it's a town resident sponsored event, maybe, we give them a discount rate because of their tax, support.
Okay.
Another benefit of living in town.
Yeah. So you can have progressive rates depending on if they live in town or out of town or whatever.
Okay, sounds good.
When you say that, I have a thought. So you have a non-town resident. I sat here and listened to one young gentleman, and at the time, the vice mayor explained that, well, you don't live in the town and don't pay taxes, and he was quick to point out
Meals
that
taxes.
his meals tax, which, as we know, is probably more so than what the town residents pay,
estate, yeah.
real estate does. But that thought.
Yeah, well, something we can toss around.
Yep.
Plug it in.
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
Is that all we need for discussion, just a directive? Okay, staff, progress.
Can we go ahead and discuss the report that you have in front of you and add an agenda item for the town park building?
For today's agenda?
Just a brief moment for Roberto to explain what's in front of you and what action items we would like to have back next
Okay.
Monday.
Any objections on modifying the agenda?
Nope.
Council,
Okay, so let's put it in place for 3A, 3B, I guess, 3A. Go ahead.
Council, so this report is actually by the contractor we asked to look at the engineer report that we had. This is the estimated that he gave, but also with the explanations as to how he's addressing it versus what IMEG's report stated. I placed it there with the intent that hopefully you all will take it home with you, read it, and then we can have a discussion over it on Monday. This is, to summarize it, this price is to, one, what it would cost to address the issues on the engineer report. Not to use it, just to fix this. The other portion is what it would take, at minimum, to make it usable, meaning painting the walls, doing everything it needs to do, fix the bathrooms, all that stuff. He also, in his professional opinion, gave his thoughts on it, as you can read there at the end, comments concerning the building. One thing that he did mention is that, I guess while you guys are reading this and for discussion, is one thing he did mention to me is that the maintenance. That is something that has never been discussed, talked about, budgeted. As far as he's aware, he actually had an engineer that had visited this site 10 years prior than when he visited last time in 2017. And he said the same thing, maintenance. So please, bear that thought when you guys are reviewing this, that's one of the things that he said is a key component, that you could do these fixes, address all these issues, but we have to have a maintenance plan when it comes to those buildings, to that building.
Tracy Lynn?
Sorry, may I ask a quick question?
Yes.
This is based on him walking through, not just on the
Yes.
inspection report that we had in the.
Yes,
Okay.
he actually came, Mrs. Louis Sublette has actually been he's known that building. He's visited that building plenty of times with our town planner at the time, now our town manager, with the prior town business manager, Jerry Shiro. And with Marchant as well. So he is very well versed in the building. So he knows the history of it.
Okay.
Yeah, he did do a walkthrough. Once he got the report, he did do a walkthrough, took pictures. So it wasn't just looking at the report and giving numbers.
Perfect. Thank you.
And he's completed a lot of the repair work we've needed, I know in the last 5 years up at that space, so he is very familiar with his work that he's done, some of the previous issues, and what could be done
So
better.
his recommendations are very plausible in execution.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad to hear about the O&M costs, operating and maintenance, not just maintenance, but operating costs, so we'll have to talk about that as well, but that can wait a week.
The one thing I will put out there is now that we have our town manager back, if you guys read this report and you guys do have any questions that you would like to get answered by the contractor, please feel free to email the town manager. You can CC me, but most likely she'll have to read it anyway. So that's it. So
So happy she's
directly,
back.
yeah, I'm so happy she's back. So happy she's back. But yes, if you have any questions or concerns on the report, please send them out. He is ready to answer any questions when it comes to this report, this estimate that he gave.
You have some questions, Marshawn?
I was going to say, with sort of the immediacy of kind of needing to make a decision sooner rather than later, I did talk to Roberto and Emily about at least revisiting the work that's already been done, both for the master plan and the previous evaluations for the two houses that used to be there. I think it's helpful for context and helpful for the sort of contemplation. So I had offered to them to put together some of the background information when we did the master park plan. I'm sorry, let me back up. We've now focused on the town center plan and moving forward on the site plan, going for the sidewalk, and then a later phase would be revisiting the overall park plan. I think we had talked about wanting to check in and reaffirm were the elements of that park plan still in play. Did we want to change up, remove, or alter those key elements, which we already have done? For instance, the playground was a little bit different than what we originally contemplated. So if the council's okay with that, if I could get some summary information to staff to have available when we talk about the overall plan, how it relates to what we may need to make decisions in the near term. And I can try to work with them to get that available by
So you're
next
the
week.
institutional knowledge, is that what you're saying?
Well, you are. So I also went and I found, remember we went, when you guys were on the council and I was the planner, we went through an exhaustive
Right.
matrix of each piece of that plan, what the public said, what the ARB said, what the PC said, what the council ultimate direction was. So I think it's just helpful, not that we have to continue to go in that direction, just we put a lot of time and resources into that. And if it's helpful for us to sort of check in on, is this still a good concept? Is this still a good plan?
I'd appreciate it.
So,
either way.
yeah, and then go back from there.
So you
So
guys are okay with doing that, giving us a,
I'll get it to them ahead of time so they can review it, and I tried to do that for tonight's closed session, did not make it, but I'll try to work with them to get it done for this one. So,
okay. I'm okay with that.
And that would be open session for this discussion, though, so
yes, yes.
if there's no money involved.
Right. Mr. Mayor, I would like to add something to the agenda. Number 6, if I could.
What would you like to add?
Staffing, just because I want to ask a couple questions about staffing.
Any objections?
Just thought of it.
Okay. Okay, staffing. So, yeah, that'll probably be a good place to, any more discussions on the Town Park building? No, we'll leave it at that. Okay. So we'll go on to the next item, which is Planning Commission resignation.
Yes.
Would you like to read that in, Kim? Or do you want me to?
She has.
You want me to? I got it.
It's in,
Yeah,
it's
it's the last page.
all the way on the back.
Okay, so for the item number 4, Planning Commission resignation, we have received a letter from Robert Chrisman. Dear Mayor, members of the Town Council, and Kimberly Henry, please accept this letter as my resignation from my position on the Haymarket Planning Commission. My resignation is pursuant to my wife and I selling our home on February 21st, 2023, and then moving outside of the town limits of Haymarket. I'll be available to serve as a member of the Planning Commission until February 20th, 2023, should you need my services. I sincerely appreciated the opportunity to serve the town of Haymarket. Best regards, Bob. and that was from Robert Chrisman.
Okay, so that leaves an open spot. I welcome anybody within the audience to apply for it. If you need a form for an application form, our clerk, Kim Henry, will have application forms available. So we got an open announcement for that. Any other comments for that?
So we're posting on our normal social media platforms, sort of the onslaught of everything.
We'll make sure everything's posted out tomorrow.
Thanks.
Okay.
Can I ask when our next newsletter is?
Our next newsletter, I take it the one went out in January, so our next one will come out the first week of April.
We'll probably want it filled before then.
Yeah, usually quarterly. Okay, now the next item, town,
Like a grassroots program.
yeah, town council resignation and vacancies. You want me to read it?
We have a paper with this picture on it.
Looking for a key.
Okay.
Really, we're reading.
So, Bob?
Dear Mayor Learson, having won the special election for vacant Gainesville supervisor seat on the Prince William County Board of Supervisors on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023, regrettably, I am required to resign my seat on the Haymarket Town Council effective 12 noon, Monday, February 27th, 2023. It's been a pleasure serving on the Town Council for the past 2 years, although the same does not apply for much of my previous terms. I feel that we have accomplished many of the goals we set forth over the 2 years again, and I wish I could remain to see many of these initiatives through to their conclusion. Unfortunately, my skills are needed elsewhere for a similar mission. I look forward to working with the town and the town council in the future as the town's representative on the county board, and plan to regularly update the town and county on county matters at the town council's regular meetings as required by town council. Should you, other members of the town council or town staff require information, advice, or the need to simply let off some steam, I'm still only a phone call away, and you can find me in my unofficial office, generally at 7:30 on Fridays. And everybody,
Yeah,
at
we
least
know
on the
that.
dais, knows where that's at.
Yeah.
Sincerely, Bob Weir. Okay, the big issues bringing this is it opens up a town seat. I think we have to appoint somebody.
Right.
I was looking at a schedule of putting that up for an open announcement to the public and giving the public until the next work session to come in so that we can appoint somebody at the work session so that we at least have them in the second draft meeting for the budget. Since the budget, I think we should have a full vote on the dais. Plus, yeah, well, then we would be cutting it close there. We still have like, what,
And the date
10
on-
days?
And the date on that would be?
March 27th. is
March
the
27th.
session for that one.
So what are we looking for exactly from any prospective candidate?
Well, we do have an application form, don't we, Kim? Usually attached to the application form, there is a comment section adding what your credentials are and your skills. Usually, you could attach your resume and, how you can benefit the town.
Okay.
Any other things have done in the past? I asked the previous members of the council.
No, exactly that. Usually, as Tracy pointed, you had to go out to find people to, unfortunately, to serve here. So, and whether or not it's on committee level or even on council level.
Yep. And Bob? Yep, it opens up a lot of liaisons, right? We got the planning commission liaison, we got the finance, so,
Do we run the risk of not having quorum on the PC for at least the next month? Okay.
yeah, so all three need to attend or else there's no quorum, right? We have 5 on the PC. So, yeah, you need those three or else nothing happens.
And then that appointment will go through, I guess we still need to decide on the special election, when we want to do a special election. Okay.
That's November, right?
Yeah, that's something we can discuss. I'm looking at the appointment to happen and the special election, just to keep it cheap on us to have it during the normal general election. Because, it's something like $2,000 cheaper? Do you?
Roberto, do you remember how much less it would be to have a separate election versus the general? Any sense of that number?
Again, caught me. Not sure of that one, but,
Stump the treasurer.
but I know that our town attorney did say that that would be the proper way to do it. Easiest way to do it is to
Yeah.
do it on the
I
November.
agree with
ballot,
that.
Yeah. I will find that out for you though, and have it ready for you guys on Monday.
It's the 6th.
Sorry about that, buddy. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense to do it that way too, not only from a cost perspective, but, it'll be a general election, right? And that'll be for the countywide election,
Yes.
right? It's not, and state? Is it going to be the state elections?
I don't know if there's any state. I know there's county.
Yeah, I think it's the Senate, right? Isn't the Senate, Virginia Senate up? Or is it next year?
I think that's 2024.
Yeah, I think it is.
Let's double check.
Yeah, I
back
think
here.
it's on even years.
But anyway, the issue is you'll have a lot more people voting.
Yes.
So you get a good, I think you'll get more people than we did the last time.
Yeah, and I guess the liaisons, I plan on waiting on that until we do appoint somebody, so we have other heads we can target as well. So keep the thoughts in mind on participation. Any comments or questions?
And what do we offer the PC as a stipend again? What is it? $35?
No, more than that.
No, it's more than that. It's like 50 a meeting, and the chair gets
Roberto?
60 and
This is-
75.
Try to stump
It
the
is,
treasurer.
no, not this one, not this one. The chair is 75, the members are 60.
Okay.
And it's, since we're talking, I guess, council too, council does get a stipend of 100 per meeting, maxed out at 3 meetings a month. Anything after that, unfortunately, we don't pay you for that.
Right. Even
After
as
taxes,
even
it's
as a
so.
PC liaison. Got
Correct,
it.
correct.
All right, so that's important for them to understand. Yep.
Yep, so those weekly financial meetings get clipped immediately.
That's fine.
Okay, if there's no more questions on that, we go to the staffing.
Yeah, the reason why I asked about this was to allow our recently returned town manager and treasurer to just inform us about what the plan is going forward for the town admin.
Okay. So,
Oh,
Andy,
And
been
events.
planner.
events. Okay, can do. So upon my return, we have 2 positions that we need to work on filling in the admin office. So as of today, we have posted the first one, which is the full-time administrative assistant. In talking with office staff and Roberto about what was going on in my absence, where the workload was, what we needed additional help with, we have tweaked the administrative assistant posting ever so slightly to add a little bit more clear job duties and responsibilities. And we have also added in there a requirement, responsibility for that person to essentially become Kim's backup as a clerk. So right now, I serve as the main backup, and thankfully, we didn't really need that while I was out. So we want another person in office to be her backup, understand how the system works, taking minutes, and then to be able to help her as well with possibly taking over the Architectural Review Board meeting or Planning Commission, or when she wants to take a vacation, to have that ease to go off and know that everything's taken care of. So you'll see that position's been posted as administrative assistant / deputy clerk. And that is in there. With that being the case, we worked through the numbers. Roberto and I sat down and discussed them and ran them by the finance committee on Thursday, and so it has been posted for a range. We find that being able to post a range salary is more attractive. We'll get better candidates. We'll be able to attract a larger pool of people to interview. So right now that's posted at a range of 37 to 45 annually. It does include benefits, so that is something if anybody asks or reach out. It is on Indeed. It will be on the town website, Facebook, and Kim has posted it to VML as well. So we're getting that out there. The second position that we are going to be filling is the event coordinator position. Again, with kind of learning from what we had posted last year and then how the duties and responsibilities were actually shaking out throughout the year with the different events. We've tweaked it ever so slightly to have a better, clearer vision of what we expect for the farmers market as well as what we expect for the event. So that position will be posted up tomorrow. It will remain the same in regards to hours and the pay as well. So the hours are up to 25 hours per week, and that would include time in the office here at the front desk area, greeting people who would like to participate in our events, farmers market, etc., as well as meeting with potential business sponsors or other community sponsors, getting out there, trying to find sponsors for our events. And then they would also have the occasional weeknight, depending on the event, or weekend, and then some Sunday hours for farmers market. We're not looking for every Sunday, but we are looking for at least one Sunday a month. So we'll work around with the candidates and decide, how that best works. So those are the two positions that we have open and will be fully posted up by tomorrow. So if you know of anybody who might be interested, please direct them to, again, Indeed, Facebook website. We'll probably put the other one on VML as well. So if you know of anybody, or you send them here to Town Hall and we can help them out, get them an application and print the descriptions off for them. Any questions?
Just one
Okay.
for the treasurer.
Another surprise question?
No, not a surprise. He'll know this. Typically, how much are we figuring on the fringe side, percentage-wise? Roughly 30%, the potential, I mean, if they go the full boat.
Yeah, if they go the full, which the biggest factor there will be the health insurance. It's about 25 to 30% there, yeah.
Okay.
Depending.
So when we're talking to people, the range of 37.45 is really higher when you really think about it. So as an incentive, just add on 25, 30%. That's your range.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
When posting that position, we were clear to put in there that the
Base.
benefits included insurance. We listed those out. We included that it had the retirement plan as well, so that hopefully they'll read down and see a bit more attractive position.
Good. Okay.
You said the same salary, and what is that for the event planner?
The event planner, can you tell me what we had that at?
So the salary for the event planner, sir, was 25 hours a week, so 50 hours at $20 an hour.
Okay.
Part-time position.
20 an hour.
Really random question. Have we set Haymarket Day this year yet?
Yes, we have. It is a standing date.
Yes.
Well, I know, third October, third Saturday in October,
Third
right?
Saturday of October. It is going to feel a whole week later because it is a whole week later. If you actually look at your calendar, the way it falls, it will be on October 21st.
Okay.
So it will feel a bit later this year for all of us. But it'll be nice because after we have a long weekend, we have 2 full weeks to get prepped for it. So
Also, I feel like the weather might cooperate a little bit.
fingers crossed.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
We couldn't have asked for better.
Only ask because people are already planning for it.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and post out something this week. We have a couple posts to do tomorrow, so it probably will not be tomorrow, but we'll post something out this week announcing that date as well as our Christmas event, which is the second Saturday in December, and then the starting date of our farmers market, which, let me double check that. Is it April 23rd? 23rd or 24th?
I was gonna say 23rd.
Hold on, let me
Sorry. I should know by heart.
Okay. It's Monday.
It'll be April 23rd, and it will run until November
Weekend before Thanksgiving.
19th.
November 19th.
Thanks.
And we are planning, Tracy Lynn and I are going to sit down probably sooner rather than later and set some additional dates, but we're planning some fun, smaller events at the farmer's market to include something that's oriented towards a Mother's Day event and a Father's Day event. Might not fall exactly on those dates because we know everybody likes to be home and celebrating with family. So we'll work on those and post them up as soon as we have them.
Thank you.
We'll also, I'm sorry, I didn't mention, we'll also have a summer concert. I don't want to missay the date. I think we talked about August 19th, but we'll put that whole schedule out
We did.
for everybody.
May I just put a plug in for the Business Roundtable?
Yes, please
Real
do.
quick. The 21st of March, it will be hosted at the hotel from 8:30 to 10. And at this point, we have Skipper Films coming in, and they will be doing, for the businesses that attend, they'll, like, kind of your 30-second elevator pitch. So we'll put a video together, and then we're gonna, like, put that all, so we can, like, outreach that on social media and do a big social media push for our in-town businesses.
And it's,
So I visited several, and I plan to visit more to personally invite them, so.
okay. And we sent out our save the date today, so if, as you're visiting businesses, ask them if they received it. If for some reason they didn't, ask them if you can get a good email for them. We try to stress that when they turn in their business license application to put the contact email that they want for business news in the contact box. Doesn't always happen, so if you guys can, as you talk with people, let them know. We'll send out additional emails, post it online as well. It's completely free for our businesses, so we're very excited. We're really hopeful that this advertising video will be a good snapshot of kind of We Are Haymarket and how it shows all of our businesses. So we're super excited about this, and Skipper does great work, so it'll be a good one.
They're the film crew that has done our Haymarket Day and other events, so I've been very pleased with their work.
Okay.
Any other questions on this staffing items?
Apologize for
Thank you.
derailing that conversation.
Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome back.
Next item. Do I have a motion?
For adjournment?
Yes.
Yes. I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
Got a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mary.